One of the core things was he said, I just remember my uncle always talking about how his best friend in the world was John Egan. And that was so touching to me.
Yeah, they were beautiful. They were beautiful together.
Yo, first of all, guys, this is a brilliant show. It really puts you in the cockpit with the other pilots, and it does a great job preserving the history of these missions that these men flew on. Callum, last time we spoke at the Boys in the Boat, you talked about the rigorous training and how that helped you build a bond between the cast. How did the training for the Master of Air compare?
Completely different. We had this 2-week boot camp at the beginning, which bonded us in a really beautiful way. The guys in real life, they had this thing called crew glue, and it's the thing that keeps them together. And so when you're up in the plane, you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for your friend next to you, and you really can't drop the ball, and you feel the responsibility of everyone. There's 10 people in that fort every time they go up. And that boot camp gave us that idea, and really we embodied it, everyone, because we understood the level of how honorable it was, what these guys did, and the honor it was for us to be representing them.
Now, Austin, a lot of these stories are real. Can you talk about the responsibility of telling these stories and honoring these heroes?
I know all of us had this feeling of an incredible privilege and responsibility in bringing their stories to life with as much authenticity and care and passion as we possibly could. Because what they did is they're the true superheroes. They saved the world. They made the world a better place, and they were so young. The bravery that they had is just remarkable. So it's really such a true honor to get to be a small part of bringing their stories to life.
Now, Callum, would you describe the dynamic between John Egan and Gail Cleven and how the two of you built these relationships on screen?
You know, the thing that's so beautiful about them are they're yin and yang. You know, they're chalk and cheese, but they've got this thing inside of them that they both joined up before Pearl Harbor, and they have this thing inside them that's inherent, and they're determined to stand up to evil in the face of adversity and put themselves on the line and sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And that's the thing that bonds them, you know. They're also the best pilots in the 100th by a million miles until Rosie turns up. And they just have this, you know, sometimes you just love someone and they love each other. And I felt that about Austin from the moment I met him. I just fell in love with him. And we had the same thing. We had this, you know, real passion for this project and for our work, and this determination to honor these guys in the best possible way, and not to let them down. And you know, art imitates life in a sense, and we just hung out for 10 months straight. Johnny Egan was Cleven's best man at his wedding. You know, this was a bond that was unbreakable for life. You were saying about the video, right? His nephew was talking about.
Yeah. I at the premiere here in Los Angeles the other day, Cleven's nephew came, and I got to speak to him for a long time, and he was just such a sweet man, and he told me stories, and but one of the core things was he said, I just remember my uncle always talking about how his best friend in the world was John Egan, and that was so touching to me.
Yeah, they were beautiful. They were beautiful together.
Thank you, gentlemen, so much for this. Master of Air is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, good seeing you too. Take care, guys.